Okay, Kaylee, today we're going to work on something called a word exploration. Word exploration is a way to define and understand what a vocab word means without necessarily looking it up, okay, by using other clues. So I'm going to give you a bunch of words. I'm going to have you write it down on a piece of paper and then make up what you think a definition is. First one is racially. Okay, the next word is base. Now, we read Jackie Robinson, okay, the closed reading, and it talked about a base. So think about what type of base they're talking about when I'm this word, okay, for base. Next word is raging. What do you think raging means? Okay, the next word is privileges. Next word is integrated. It's okay for your first guess. It's okay if you get it wrong, because as I go over different sentences and different ideas, I think it's going to come up to you a little bit clearer. Collegiate. Segregation. Last one is a phrase, Jim Crow laws. Okay. Now, the first word was racially. Tell me your definition.
Being judged because you're a different race.
Okay, so you're close on that one. Why do you think that was the definition?
I thought that was the definition because, like, that's how I thought of it.
Well, was there any part of the word that jumped out at you to make you think that it's being judged on a different race? Any part of the words? Because the full word's racially. Did you see anything that made you think that?
Race.
Race. Okay, good. I like that. That's a good thought. The next one is base. What was your definition?
The fight you tag in baseball.
Okay, so I love that definition, okay? That is a definition of a base. It's just not the base that I want you to work on, okay? So I'm going to give you another hint on this in a few minutes. Okay, raging.
Really excited.
Okay, I could see that maybe if you're really excited, maybe you're raging and, maybe a term. This raging is also a different one. And I'm going to give you another clue as well to help that. Okay, privileges.
What you can and can't do.
I love that. That's a perfect definition. Absolutely. Integrated.
Something that is important.
Something that's important. What gave you that clue that would mean that? Inter. Okay, so that means important to you. Inter. That prefix. Okay. Collegiate.
A college friend.
A college friend. Okay. Now, why does that make you think of a college friend?
I don't know.
Something about it just makes you think college friend. Okay. Segregation.
The difference between two people.
And what hinted to that to you? Is it something that you've heard before?
Okay, yeah. N, and then we placed it at the end. So I put like nation.
Oh, okay. So you saw Asian and you thought maybe nation and that. Okay. Okie dokie. And the phrase Jim Crow laws.
The laws that have to deal about the battle.
Okay, what battle? What battle made you, what did this make you think of? Like maybe what battle or what jumped out at you?
I don't know.
You don't know, but that's where you went. Okay, and that's okay. Because sometimes your head does go someplace and sometimes it's completely right, like racially and privilege, and other times it's a little off. So we're going to tweak it. All right. So we're going to try to fix your original definition. So I'm going to go with the first one that you didn't get correct. And I believe it was the base.
Yeah.
Okay. So this type of base, I'm going to read you a sentence, and then I want you to come up with a better definition. So down here, you can write number 2 again. All right. So it is... and I just lost it. Okay. There it is. At Fort Riley, Kansas, Jackie was invited to play for the base's football team. So I'll say it again. At Fort Riley, Kansas, Jackie was invited to play for the base's football team. So what kind of base could we get a definition for now? Go ahead and write it down. All right, what's your definition?
A home ground of the Army.
And I think you're absolutely right. It does mean that. It means that's where people in that line of armed forces live. So they have homes for people who live on the base, which is where you'll find, the hospital they have there, the stores they have there, the different works they have there. So if it's the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, they all have a base. So that's exactly right. Right, nice job. All right, what's the next one? Really excited, you said. Raging, right? Okay, I'm going to give you a sentence. Robinson joined the United States Army a few months later in May 1942, while World War II was raging overseas. You thinking right? Yep, go ahead. Ken, what do you think?
Something that was like happening overseas.
Yeah, it was going on. Okay, so instead of just happening, it was at it's ongoing. It's at its height. Okay, good, very good. All right, what's the next one? We got privileges, right? Something that is important. Was that integrated?
Yes.
Okay, integrated. Something that was important. Okay, so let me give you a sentence about integrated. Okay. Robinson made the decision to attend the University of California, Los Angeles, or UCLA, which was a member of the racially integrated Pacific Coast Conference. Another way to say integrated would be, I'm going to give another sentence. The integrated baseball team had both black, or had all black, white, Hispanic teammates. So what do you think integrated might mean?
Non-judging.
Okay, non-judging, that's not a bad one to say, but integrated basically means that people are all coming together. There's no separation because of race. So in this particular meaning, where it says racially integrated, that means that whites and blacks were able to play on the same team, no matter what their color was. And they played in a league that allowed, teams allowed each other to play each other that had white and black teammates, and there was no refusal because of the color of someone's skin. All right, let's see the next one. College friend. Collegiate. All right, let me give you the sentence for collegiate. During his collegiate career at UCLA. Collegiate career.
Important?
It might be important, but what do you see in the word collegiate? What word sounds like collegiate? College. Okay, so we know it has to do with
College.
It has to do with college. So his career during his college time. So cross out important and put having to do with college. Okay, number 7, segregation. Okay, segregation. Okay, the two groups of people were segregated because of the color of their skin. Segregated. Okay, which is also a form of segregation. So what would segregated mean, or segregation mean? Okay.
People who get treated different because of their skin color.
Very good. And it's more than just being different. They're being separated. Okay? Segregation is when they separated people. Integration is when they brought them together. Okay? Now the last one is called Jim Crow laws. Okay? I'm going to read you a sentence and I want you to listen to it and see if you can figure out what the Jim Crow laws mean. Jackie quickly learned about the Jim Crow Army, which has to do with the Jim Crow laws, in which white soldiers enjoyed more privileges than blacks did. What is Jim Crow laws?
Laws that say whites can only do something.
The laws say only whites can do something. And you're pretty close. Okay? It is saying that whites can do something and blacks cannot. So in this particular Jim Crow laws and the Jim Crow Army, we had whites and blacks working together side by side. And the white army people would get better privileges. They might get more breaks. They might make more money. And the blacks who were doing the exact same thing were not getting the same or equal pay or breaks. So that's where the Jim Crow law and the Jim Crow Army comes, okay? So now that you've heard a lot of different words that I went over with you, what do you think this closed read is really about, about Jackie Robinson?
About how he gave up his career, how he...
And before you start, I want you to think about the words that we just went over. Don't think about him at all for this. But what do you think this is going to be about? It's considering the vocab words we went over.
About how people get treated differently.
People get treated differently. Good. Can you use maybe a vocab word or two?
Segregation.
Segregation, which means what?
People get separated because of their skin color.
Yep, absolutely good. And what's another word that you might be able to use? If it's not just about segregation, it might also be about integration. Okay, integration is when they
bring people together.
Bring people together, no matter what their skin color looks like. Okay, so I think we're going to see a little bit of that in this story. And now that you know what the words mean when you read it, I think it will be more helpful for you. Okay, can you shut that off for me?